B with your Wednesday, June 3rd post. I hope you had fun with the Jeopardy game, and now we will be talking a little bit more about the planets, and we're going to be looking at the order of the planets from closest to the sun to furthest away from the sun. So I'll take you through a worksheet, and I'll show you that in a second, but we'll just go over some of the things that we're doing. So on this, it's just a little bit of a refresher about what you did last time. So we did the Jeopardy game, and now we're going to be looking at the planets and their order. On the sheet of paper, which I'll show you in just a second, we're going to follow the arrows and we will be labeling the order of the planets together. Even if you know this and can do it on your own without watching this video, make sure you jump ahead to the end of this video because I'll be talking about your next assignment afterwards. So this is the worksheet that we'll be working off of. So this is what you should have in front of you or nearby you. And I'll actually get you a bigger one that we'll go through together now. So in the naming of the planets, and we'll go on to this a little bit later, that will be your second assignment, and I'll explain a little bit more in detail what that is. But so, starting with this first small planet right here, we're going to follow the arrow down, and our line will go here for that first planet, which is Mercury. Mercury is the furthest planet from the sun, or is the closest planet to the sun. Sorry, not the furthest. It's the closest planet to the sun, and it is right here. The next planet, or the second planet from the sun right here, is called Venus. After that, we are the third planet, actually. So this is us right here in Earth. So we will put ourselves right here in Earth. After that, we reach the last of what are called the rocky planets because of how they're made up, and we'll get a little bit of time to touch on that a little bit later. But the fourth of the rocky planets is Mars, or the red planet. If you've seen pictures of it, you'll know that Mars is very, very red. Then we hit this squiggly lined half circle here, and this is called the asteroid belt. Essentially, that separates the first four planets from the remaining planets, and there's also a change in what they're made of. So these first four planets are made up of mainly rocks, and then these planets back here are made mostly of gas, and they're almost completely made of gas, with the first one being Jupiter, which is this one right here. So Jupiter is the gas giant. It's the biggest of the planets that we have in our solar system. Following here, what we have is we have Saturn, which is known for its really, really elaborate rings, which if you look up pictures of it, it is very, very nice rings. The next one we have here is Uranus, or Uranus. It is the seventh planet. It's very blue. It's like an aquamarine kind of greeny blue. After that, we have Neptune, which is the seventh planet, and it's very, very like a deep blue. And then last here, what's not considered a planet anymore, but we'll add it to our list because we have it here, is Pluto. Now, scientists have gone back and forth about whether or not Pluto is a planet or is not a planet, or if it's even a part of our solar system, because it goes around the sun in a very weird pattern. So it's currently now not considered a planet, but for a long time before now, it was considered part of our solar system, which is why it is here. But now scientists don't consider Pluto to be a planet, but we label it anyway. So before I get on to this, we'll just go back to our main PowerPoint. And now, unfortunately, we don't have the story available to us. There's a very nice story if you want to look for it. It is called A Place for Pluto. I might put a video up of me reading it later on Friday because you'll have all of this week, the rest of this week, to work on these lessons. So I might put a video up of me reading that story for you. And it's a nice little kid story about what Pluto is and why it's not a planet, and if it's not a planet, what is it. It's very nice. But so what we'll move on to next is your assignment. And so we are creating a silly sentence. Another word for that is a mnemonic device. So basically it allows you to an easier way to remember the order of the planets. So you might have talked about this in social studies, I'm not sure yet, but with the Great Lakes, we have Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. Those are our 5 Great Lakes. And when you make those into a mnemonic device, if you remember the word homes, you can have an easier time remembering our Great Lakes, which is H Huron, O Ontario, M Michigan, E Erie, and S Superior. So the first letter of all those spell the word homes. we're going to do something similar, except we're going to make a sentence using the first letter of each planet to find a word that starts with that letter to make up a silly sentence. So here, your sentence has to be in order, and you can include Pluto in your sentence if you want, or you do not have to. The sentence can be silly, but should still be appropriate, and also make some sense. It can be a goofy sentence, but it should still make a little bit of sense. You should have a drawing if you can, or it can just be the sentence itself. And then we'll be collecting these. If you've seen in the back of my room, I have books of students work with this silly sentence from previous years. So ideally, you can make this and then drop it off to the school or bring it in next year, and we can still put together a book for you guys. Unfortunately, you aren't going to be able to see those. So we'll do a bit of one together. But so remembering that our order is Mercury, and I'm just going to put the first letter because that's really all that we need. Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and then Pluto as an option. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a sentence by picking one word that starts with the letter that you're currently on. So for our first one being Mercury, instead of it being Mercury, it could be like the word my, or Mary, or Mary, or month. Like, it can be any M word you choose. And then you're going to do the same for the next letter, and you're going to try and create a sentence with that. So it could be very, it could be villain, it could be vine, it could be anything like that. And so eventually you're going to pick words that will eventually create a sentence. So it could be my very elaborate mission just started up now. So my silly sentence would be, my very elaborate mission just started up now. And then my picture would have to match that. So I'd show myself going on this crazy secret agent mission or something like that to match along with the sentence. And then again, your sentence doesn't have to be that. And then if you want to include Pluto, you just have to come up with an additional word that starts with the letter P. So if I'm using my same sentence that I have right now, so my very elaborate mission just started up now. I'm trying to think. My sentence doesn't really work. I'd have to change it, but it just started up now, potentially. So my very elaborate mission just started up now, potentially. So maybe I'm getting a message, but I'm not sure if I'm supposed to start my mission now or later. But your drawing should reflect the sentence that you wrote. So you're matching your picture to the sentence that you wrote. I'm not going to post a new lesson on Friday for you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. If not, I will see you back on Monday, June 8th. Have a good one, you guys.